Scott King, great question. Can you explain to me why I got Social Security disability and supplemental security income, yet I only seem to have only gotten paid from one program? I'm so confused. All right, let me see if I can explain this in a way that makes a little bit of sense, because I know this is going to sound confusing. So when you apply for Social Security, they'll let you apply for everything you're entitled to. Most people qualify under two programs fairly commonly. Supplemental security income, which is a welfare need-based program. Disability insurance benefits, which is based on you paying into the system. Okay, I'm going to give you two examples. Follow me along on each one. The first example is where your DIB is greater than your SSI. The other example is when your SSI is greater than your DIB. Let's go with the DIB. And we're going to talk about what happens when the payments get kind of weird. All right. First, let's assume, for instance, the individual applied for disability benefits June 1 of, let's go with a clean period of time. Let's say they applied for June 1 of 2012 and applied for disability benefits, and they say they became disabled in 2010. They applied for SSI and SSD. They got approved in January of this year. Still with me? Okay. Now, let's say that the person's SSI starts from what date? The date of the application. So their approval would be from June 1, 2012 to the present. Now, the most you can get for SSI typically is around $700 and some change. If I remember correctly, I'm not intimately familiar with the dollar amount, but it's usually around $700. Let's say that the person is entitled to receive a year back pay from all the way back to June of 2011 of $900 per month for disability insurance benefits. On another, are you with me so far? So that means SSI starts June, we're in 2013, June of 2013. June 1st, 2012 starts your SSI. June 1st, 2011 starts your DIB, your SSD, okay? Now, the SSI gets calculated first because it's $700 per month. They calculate that first. And then they look at then they ship that off to the payment processing center in an area, whether it be Alabama, New York, and Chicago, Virginia, something like that. Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore, either one of those places, to figure out your back pay for your DIB. All right. First things first. You don't get a total amount of money from SSI and a total amount of money from DIB. Remember, if there's money coming from any other program other than SSI, they can reduce the SSI. So let's just do basic math. If the most you're getting in SSI is 700 and the most you're getting for DIB is 900, how much are they going to reduce your SSI? That's right, $700. Because why? You've got $200 more than your SSI. It's a dollar for dollar swap. So that means for every dollar you get of DIB, they're going to reduce that SSI. Why is that important? Well, because you're going to probably, when the money starts to pay out, you're only going to just get DIB. So this is how it gets a little weird. So let's say, for instance, for our purposes, you've got DIB benefits and SSI. They did the SSI first, and boom, you got a big, you went down there and you complained. You don't want to get monthly installments, 6-month installments. And let's say for our purposes, because SSI usually they only pay you in 6-month installments, but let's just say you were able to convince them to give you the entire thing. All right, so you got $700 a month times 12 months, $8,400. Booyah, you are in there. So now you're thinking, I got $8,400. Now I got 900 times 12. Let me see if that's 10,000. That's $21,600 coming in DIB. Awesome. I'm gonna have that 21,000 plus 8, and I'm gonna be 29. Wrong answer. What's gonna happen is, remember, follow me here. There's a dollar for dollar offset. What Social Security is gonna do is they're gonna say, well, had SSI not paid you that $8,400, you would have gotten that $8,400 out of that $21,600 you would have gotten in back pay for DIB. You understand where I'm going with this? Okay, make sure I'm doing the math right, because I may be off here. Hold on, let me because I know I'm using the new math here. So give me 1 second, because I don't want you to be thoroughly confused, because some of you are like, Probably sitting there going, okay, Attorney Reeves, what school did you go to where you came up with that math? I said, okay, I'm doing rough math in my head. That's why I'm an attorney. All right, so let's go. 24 months times 900. Yeah, I was right. Try me, know my math. All right, so same thing what I just said. So what happened is that you've already been paid $8,400 from SSI. Well, the SSI is going to go away because you shouldn't have got it in the first place because your DIB was more than your SSI. Follow me along? Okay, so guess what ends up happening? They're going to subtract that $8,400 from that. They're going to say, okay, well, no, that's what they're going to say, well, you shouldn't have got that in the first place. They're going to probably take that $8,400 out anyway. And so the most you're going to get is the $13,200, which would have given you your total of $21,600. You see what I'm saying? So this is where those weird things where you're like, I'm so confused. That's what happened. So since SSI paid you first, they subtracted the two. And I've seen it the other way, where Social Security gives you $21,600, and then all of a sudden they don't give you the $8,400 because why? It's included within that. Okay? Now let's flip over to the other example, where I say it's half and half. Let's say you're entitled to $700 in SSI, and let's say you're entitled to $350 in DIB. But what happens? Same scenario, $8,400 in SSI. And then what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, that 350 times the entire time period, they're going to say, okay, well, let's adjust that again. Let's do the math here. See how this works out. And this math works a little bit differently. So in this instance, we're going to say 350 times 24 months. It's $8,400. Now here's where it gets a little weird. Okay, you already got this. Man, I know it's going to sound kind of weird. What you really would have gotten is that's 30. What should have really happened is they're going to basically do the same. They're not going to do quite necessarily the same thing. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, that means I'm not going to get anything. No. Remember, it's a $1 for dollar swap. So what would have happened here is they would have said to themselves, okay, had you not paid that $350, we would have paid it as well. So basically what they would have done is they're going to adjust it accordingly. So they're basically going to say, well, they're going to give you $350 for that first 12 months. And then they're going to reduce it for that also period of time where you've already gotten paid $350 as well. And this is where I say this sounds kind of confusing. They would have basically said, well, let's be real here. In theory, what you should have gotten for those 12 months of SSI from us is $350 times 12 months. So that means $4,200 should have came from them, $4,200 should have came from Social Security. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, they paid our $3,500. So what they're going to do is that $8,400 you got for those 12 months is yours clear. You're not going to get DIB for that time period. You're not going to get SSI for that time period. You're just going to get that flat money from SSI. Then what they're going to do is they're going to go back retroactively and they're going to say $350 times those 12 months. You'll get it, which is like $4,200. So you'll get an extra $4,200 in that instance. People, I know I have thoroughly confused you. Trust, I've had this conversation so many times, and even after I explain it to people, they're like, huh? I'm like, this is what I tell people. It all washes out. Trust me. That's why Social Security gives you award notices and they break this thing down, because people like to do, like me, like to do the new math, and you're trying to figure this out. Don't try to wreck your brains. That's why they have these supercomputers to do this for you. It'll wash itself out. Just remember, if you're getting DIB and SSI, if the DIB is going to be $1 for dollar, expect your SSI to be reduced by any money you get for SSD. And if your SSD exceeds your SSI, you're probably not going to get SSI. All right, update on Clark v. Astrue. 2 things you need to know. 1, I'm not the person that you need to come to. I've gotten a lot of calls about this and they're like, oh, what's going on? I am not the person to come to, but I do have somebody that you should contact. And after this video is over, I'm actually going to put his name up and everything right after. His name is Gerald McIntyre. He is actually the class counsel. That means he was the lead attorney. Well, let me take this back. He's the attorney for the class for Clark v. Astrue. So all of you out there who are wondering whether Social Security is doing what they're supposed to do or believe that they're not, I'm going to give you his name, email address, and his phone number. So he would be very interested in knowing whether or not Social Security is doing what they're supposed to do. So please feel free to contact him.